So the last diesel shop owner that I interviewed about this told me that the biggest truck, if I'm not mistaken, that he says to stay away from is your 6.4 Power Stroke.
Oh yeah.
Is that still the case? Do you guys even take 6.4 Power Stroke? Do you guys really work on them?
Nope. We got.
If you have a 6.4 Power Stroke, don't bring it to Ryan's diesel service.
We got 3 of them we won't work on. 6.4 Power Strokes. Just you get those guys.
They're good-looking trucks, though.
I mean, they look okay. You know what I mean?
Put Cummins in it.
Yeah.
Cummins.
You either get the 6.4 guys that swear by them or swear at them. So personally, not a 6.4 fan. We will not work on them. They're a nightmare. The Eco Diesels, the Jeeps, and the 1500 Dodges. Those again. Like I actually don't know anybody in our area that actually works on them. And then Nissans with those 5.0 Cummins deal. Yeah.
Any good?
No, those things are junk. So. Yeah, I think we've seen 2 of them through here, and again, we don't refuse a lot. That is the big 3 that we're just like, yep, hard no. And unfortunately, it sounds 99% of the time, you usually sounds like you can hear in their voice at the other end of the phone that we weren't the first person to tell them no. I mean, we get guys across the country that are calling us to work on them, and
wow.
Okay, well, I guess I'll keep calling. So
we are at location Ryan's Diesel Service, Kodiak Truck, North Prairie, Wisconsin. They do a lot of diesel repair here. They do a lot of removing and replacing transmissions, transfer cases, turbos, overhauls, semis. I mean, you name it from A to Z, they do it. You get a lot of Chevy stuff, but you also get a lot of Ford stuff, so it's kind of balanced out, I'm guessing.
Up here, I mean, we are primarily in southeastern Wisconsin up here. Anyways, very Duramax heavy as far as that goes. There's a lot of Duramax trucks up in this area. There are, I would say, out of the big 3, there's probably the least would be Cummins stuff. Power Stroke's definitely a close number 2. I mean, I daily drive a 21 Power Stroke, so again, it's one of those things, they are still common around here. Big things that we see, I mean, don't get me wrong, we are still seeing Duramaxes, your everyday common stuff going on, whether it's a trans or something. Of course, head gaskets. I often say the LMLs, I feel, are the new, quote-unquote LOIs of head gasket issues. I know we still actually do have a couple LOIs back there, even though this week's still getting them. I mean, the LMLs are definitely starting to come up. Power Strokes, so I would say, as of recently in the last 6 months, we've seen a lot of issues. We've got 2 sitting in the parking lot right now for motor jobs. We just had another one that actually just left. These are ranging anywhere between your 2011 to 2015. Yes, I know they did have a lot of issues with them. I want to say there's some valve train issues, if I remember, on the 11s and 12s. I got one guy here that's phenomenal with them, and like I say, he's a real whiz with them. And again, I know those we've been seeing. He's been seeing a lot of them. CP4s on those have actually been an issue as well too. Have
you guys been doing disaster kits on these?
We have. We just like 2 days ago. We
or
just
DCRs.
Had one Yep. We've done CPX DCRs, and then they make the disaster prevention kit. I know we just had a 2019, I think it was, in here, something like that. Yesterday, 2 days ago, we just did one on. I do like the kit. It seems to be a nice kit. And hey, every little bit's going to help saving it if something were to happen.
Yeah, because it keeps it contained. And when he was saying LML, I know I've been bagging on LML a lot, guys. And trust me, I think it's a great platform. Just fix the known issues, like the CP4 injection pump, before it occurs. That's kind of where I'm getting at. So just fix that. You shouldn't have an issue. In general, when we're talking about injection pumps, if you can keep it contained within the injection pump versus it spreading through the injection system.
Just had one that actually we finished up here. It was actually on an LML, and the pump did let fly, and that guy was well over 10 grand, as I remember, like you say, but it took out everything. And I mean, to do it the right way, sure, I get, every internet mechanic's going to tell me that they can do it faster, but to do it the legitimate right way that we found, it's about 30 to 35 hours of labor between stuff that you can clean, stuff that you need to replace, stuff that you need to strip off, stuff you need to let soak. So again, doing it the right way to get all those shavings out of there. In this guy's case, he had an auxiliary fuel tank on top of it. So again, it's not a small, cheap job by any means. So yeah, putting those extra D makes the fuel saver for the LMLs as well. Putting those in as well too. I mean, again, they definitely, every little bit can help if you're going to keep that factory CP4 in there.
Yes, definitely. Every little bit helps. Yeah, even if you can't spend the kits on, like on my website, SNS kits are going for about $2 grand, and that's not cheap. Not to mention the labor that's going to cost in order for that to get installed. Now, we did talk about Ford. Ford is a pretty known issue right now, yep. And that's coming in the shop. And like you said, you got a motor job in.
Yeah, we got a couple of them sitting out there right now. Like I say, again, we're starting to see weird little issues with them that are starting to creep up. We've had some with electrical issues and stuff. So, again, it's definitely been an uptick that we've seen as far as that goes. Like I say, yes, we still are seeing your Duramax stuff. Yes, we got a couple coming sitting out there for issues and that sorts, but we are starting to see, you know, on the rise, you know, weird, as they start aging, weird little issues coming up.
I don't know if you're really seeing it much, because I don't know if you're seeing a lot of the L5 piece coming in with transmission issues. I know that they did a recall, which you did recently on this.
Yeah, this had a flash update done on it. This truck's just shy of 100,000 miles right now. It's like 96,000. I haven't had any issues with it, and I've towed heavy with it, a tandem dual gooseneck. That's what they say, there's a valve body issue. I have not seen that with this yet. I know other guys have. I think the 20 was the biggest problem, the 2020. This truck's a 21. You've got a 24, Ryan. Granted, you got no miles on it. I have a brand new 25. It's only got 500 miles on it, so I haven't had any miles put on it to know anything. I mean, we're hoping 24s and 25s by now they got those things corrected. Drivetrain-wise, I've had some strange ones lately. I had a Power Stroke come in here, a 2017, with 50,000 miles on it, and the transfer case was wiped out. Oh. It was diagnosed by another shop. I doubted the situation. I didn't doubt the shop because they're a good shop. I just found it completely crazy to think that this case was wiped out, and it killed the fluid. It was destroyed. I took the case out, had to go through it, went through entire case, got it back in the guy's truck, ran great for a month or so, called me back up, thought he had an issue with it. Turned out he smoked his trans. There's, I guess, in the Ford, 17 is a 6-speed, I believe. And there's a known bearing failure in the back of the transmission. He had another guy that's a trans guy in them, thankfully, because I didn't want to jump into it, and he took it to them, and he ended up having to put a trans in the thing. I don't see where, and it was a 1-ton, it's an F350. I wouldn't see where you should have to put that kind of money in a 50,000 mile truck right out of the gate. Pretty crazy, but
they don't make them like they used to, right, Mark?
No, but I tell you what, still our bread and butter is 263 XHD and everything GM made from basically, you know, 99 through 2007, all the pump rub cases, you know, some of the Tahoes were even earlier than that. And I'm amazed we still sell a lot of stuff for the early Tahoes and Suburbans and half-tons that had the AutoTrack case where they started in 96. But, and I'm starting to see a lot of the Cummins stuff now in the Borg Warner, the 4446s and 4447s, and that's why we stocked up on them now. I got a full line of those for the 3/4 tons. Again, they're getting 150,000 miles out of them and they're done. Now, I think a lot of it is, again, maintenance. People, they neglect them. It's the most neglected item in a truck is a transfer case and differential. So, I don't know. We'll see where things go from here, you know. The quality of parts, even on new stuff, I don't think is there. I don't think the quality is in these newer trucks. But at some point in time, your truck gets too rusted and too beat up. You gotta get something a little newer.
So it is nice to get into a newer truck, but then you're kind of chincing on the quality. That's what I'm seeing, you know, just as a truck, you know, driving the truck.
I think they got a lot of creature comforts, you know, and you can get spoiled real easy. I mean, this truck's a work truck, and it's got cloth seats, but they're heated. It's got a heated steering wheel, and I mean, if it's sitting outside at night and you hop in the thing and you remote started it, you're kind of spoiled. I mean, you grab a nice warm steering wheel, you're not freezing your hands off. The windows are thawed out already, and away you go. So, I don't know. Yeah, we've become a society of conveniences.
Yeah, that's true. Now, going back to the valve body issue, if you don't know, I made a video about this. I'm hoping that they can tighten up their recall a little bit more, but there's been known issues with the rear ends literally locking up on them while they're driving, and that's scary, or skipping on them. Several people in the comments in that last video said that that's already happened to them, where
actually,
the rear ends would skip. Oh, you did have one.
We actually have one here right now. We're not 100% certain of what is going on with it yet because it was just dropped off, but it's actually either 2020 or 2021, and it's got 140,000. The guy was literally driving it to the dealership to go trade it in, and all the check engine lights, you know, everything on this under the sun went on, you know, StabiliTrak and all this, and check engine light, and it's throwing a whole bunch of transmission faults right now. So we're not 100% certain yet on it of what it is. It was just towed in here, but it sounds like there's something with the 10-speed that is actually going on with it. So we'll see. We'll see. But they are starting. I don't want to say that's our first one that we've seen with an issue, but we haven't had a lot of them through here.
They're starting to come in though, man.
They're finally starting to get out of warranty. They're getting old enough where the extended warranties aren't covering stuff anymore, and we're starting to see a lot more of them.
I think the majority of them That the reason we haven't seen lots and lots of them yet is because most of them are still under warranty yet. So I think they're what, 5-year, 100,000 on the drivetrain. So I know this truck still has roughly 4,000 miles of warranty, but it's warranted till 26 yet.
Yeah.
So June of 26. So if my trans goes out, it's going to the dealer.
People are complaining that the valve bodies are national back order. They're almost impossible to get, and if you get them, you get your hands on one, they're like jacking these prices up like double. So a valve body would be, and don't quote me on this, but I mean, I think I've seen an excess of I think $7,000 for a valve body at one point.
Sounds like the TCMs 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. So for you 2020 plus 2500 HD guys, 10-speed Allisons, beware. That's definitely an issue, and it's just starting to kind of go through the local diesel shops that we're now seeing.
Like you say, a lot of these manufacturers, I mean, heck, GM started discontinuing some of the simple stuff that we would get for these trucks. And I'm not just talking even the emission side, I'm talking anything parts related. They're starting to discontinue them. I mean, I don't know if you heard the 06 through 08 TCMs, they discontinued, GM discontinued all those. So 06 through 08 truck owners, if their TCM fails on their truck,
Chinese people, man, they're gonna start making them and selling them cheaper.
I sure hope they do, man, because we need something. We got a lot of angry customers calling us. It ain't us, guys. Trust me. We want to have them be able to sell.
They're gonna
them,
be like catalytic converters. People are gonna start cutting
stealing
them off.
them. Hey, that was happening during the shortage a couple of years back. Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah. They're stealing them out of dealership parking lots. But no, like I say, I mean, we still see the emission stuff. Like I say, on the Dodge Ram side of things, or in this case, the medium duty stuff, we are still seeing emission side. You know, and again, I'm not going to just center that out into one. We're seeing it across the big three.
Turbos on the Cummins, the newer Cummins. How are they holding up?
The actuator issues are starting to come up, especially if you got like a 45, 5500 where it's a service truck where that thing's just getting the miles pounded on it. They're definitely starting to creep up and have issues. So you start getting those random that's actuator codes. 99% of the time, the turbo's out of it. The actual cage assembly in the back seizes up and whacks the actuator out. You got to put a whole turbo on it. I mean, thankfully in our line of work, we have a cheaper solution for them as far as that goes, because right now, especially for like medium duty trucks, those turbos are, if you go to the dealer, they're almost $7,000 for that turbo.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they're definitely getting out of control.
LM2s, LZOs, 3.0 liter Duramaxes. Some of you guys have been wanting me to talk about that, and I just haven't, and I'm sorry about that. Are you seeing these things coming in? Are you working on them?
We are starting to see them. We actually just had one through here. I'll say it this way. Personally, myself, me and my wife own one. Love it. It's fantastic. It's in a Tahoe. That thing, literally, she can get like mid-20s with that thing driving around. Absolutely.
In a Tahoe.
In a Tahoe.
That's impressive.
Absolutely love that thing. We actually had
Is it quick?
It's not bad. I mean, you ain't winning races, all the time with it, but whatever. She doesn't need that much, right? Whatever. I actually had one I had a 2024, it was a 1500, I think it was last year I had that truck. We were doing some prototype testing with some stuff and more doing some R&D on stuff. We were going to come out with some products that we didn't end up doing, but I had that in a pickup truck. Again, I absolutely love that thing. Again, you had the diesel engine in a pickup truck. I was pulling, 22-ish, 20 to 22, driving around. I mean, again, I think that's pretty awesome because I got the nice, comfort ride of a half ton, right? So I think they're great until they get out of warranty. That's when I don't think they're not so great. We had a customer...
Boating accident.
Yeah, pretty much. We had a customer that just came through here. This guy's been a long-time customer, and we didn't know that he went out and decided to buy one of these. He had it, and we'd always worked on his work trucks. This was his personal truck. All of a sudden, one day he showed up with it, and we're like, what's with this? Oh, I got all these check engine lights. He was on vacation. It broke down on him. He had put $4,400 worth of sensors at the GM dealer into this thing and literally barely made it home, and it was still acting up. And we narrowed it down. It was like 12 different codes it had on in the computer. It was just an absolute nightmare. We narrowed it down to like 4 codes. Of those 4 codes, there's TSBs out that GM had published. It was literally 30 pages long of TSB. That is the longest TSB I have ever seen. I've done this since 09. That is the longest TSB I've ever seen. 30 pages. There was like, and I'm not exaggerating by this, there was like 15 or 18 rub spots in the harness where this wire could be rubbed or that wire could be rubbed or this whole pack of wires. It was a nightmare. And we ended up, and then it started being, we couldn't consistently get it to act up. If it wasn't so humid out, it wouldn't be an issue. Or if it started raining, then it would act up all the time, and it was a nightmare. So again, I think they're phenomenal. When you own them during warranty time, outside, yeah, I don't know yet. Like you say, again, they got the timing belt in the back too, though. That's, I know, a big thing too, that everybody.
What is the mileage?
100,000 on those is when they say that needs to be replaced, and I know that's a big. Actually, he actually had that code in there as well too for that. And looking it up, it was like a 20-some-odd hour job or something, if I remember. It was not an easy job.
I wonder if there's like a shortcut to that. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are you seeing the most coming in? I'm gathering from our conversation, which I feel like this conversation could go on for about an hour. Is it Ford? Are we seeing a little more?
I would say definitely we're starting to see a little bit more Ford. I would say it's still neck and neck with our GM stuff, but we're definitely starting to see, again, as these trucks are starting to age, starting to see issues with them again.
And you're talking like invoice wise and more catastrophic issues.
Yep. Okay. Bigger issues that are starting to go on, so. Don't hate me for it, guys.
Before it was Duramax.
I'm just saying,
yeah, before it was. Last video we did, it was Duramax.
It
and that was, like, again, I think it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, we like you say, and again, I'm not saying the Duramax are out of the woods either.
Cummins leads the way.
I like the 10-speed. At first, I wasn't 100% sure on it, but I've towed with it a couple times now and laid into it pretty hard, and it's just a stock truck. And it hasn't missed a beat. It really hasn't. I feel that in the morning when you fire them up, you got to let them warm up for a hot minute, or you'll get some funky flare shifts here and there a little bit. But that's about it. But once it upshifts once or twice, it's perfectly fine. I know there's one sitting in the back shop. I know eventually we're going to have to get after the 10 speeds, and I know other guys are doing them already. But our customers are going to be calling. They're going to be wanting them, and so on and so forth. I think the 6-speed is a solid platform of the Allisons for sure. That's a solid transmission. It really is. It is kind of weird to drive the 10-speed though if you haven't never driven one, because sometimes you swear you can't even hear it shift. And again, because my truck's stock, it's got stock exhaust. You don't hear much or anything like that. But
hood stack it.
Yeah, I mean, with a load on, I had it loaded heavy a couple times with a tandem dual gooseneck, and I like the way it shifts, to be honest with you. It shifts really rapidly, very quick, especially in the tow haul mode. So, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell what they bring us and so on and so forth. But I know we have one in the back shop, and we're going to probably tear it apart and start studying some things on it. And I know there's a lot of companies out there with parts for them already.
We're already now seeing newer trucks coming in the shop, just trying to raise awareness. It's kind of the whole thought on this one. Do you have an old truck with 500,000 miles on it, tried and true? Let us know. Let us know in the comments what you drive. That being said, check out RyansDieselService.com. He sells turbos on his website. They do a lot of diesel repair here if you want to check them out here at North Prairie, Wisconsin, as well as Kodiak Truck. Again, same building. They build transmissions. Transfer cases is one of their bread and butters, as well as front differentials and rear ends. Check out my website, TruckMasterDiesel.com, where I just sell a ton of truck parts. Man, that was a lot to talk about, and we are done with this video. Anything else?
I think that does it.
We're gonna follow up with this one. This is a fun talk. So let us know what you think about the vlog stuff too. I always enjoy doing this, just sharing knowledge. But that is it. We'll see you on the next one.
Stay tuned.